Welcome to session 1 of our 4-part Zoom series, Modern Moves, Agent Strategies for the New Age of Real Estate. Session 1, Human is Greater Than the Algorithm, and Standing Out in an AI-Driven World. AI can write your captions, it can answer your emails, even draft a bio in seconds. But here's what it can't do. It can't feel, it can't connect, it can't care. In today's real estate world, where every agent is starting to sound the same, your real edge isn't the tech, it's you. We all have access to the same tools, the same systems, the same platforms, but no one has your voice, your story, or your presence. So this session is about showing up as more than just an algorithm. Because at the end of the day, you are the brand, you are the trust, and you are the difference. First, I want you to understand, we're not here to compete with AI. We're here to connect more deeply because of it. AI isn't going anywhere. In fact, it's only getting smarter. So whether you love it, hate it, or feel totally overwhelmed by it, you need to learn how to use it. But more importantly, you need to learn how to use it right. So here's a question to think about. What's one thing you believe AI can't do better than you? So take a moment, think about it, and keep that answer in mind as we move through today's session. Let's take a quick look at today's agenda. We're going to explore 3 big topics. First, how AI is changing buyer and seller behavior, what's shifting, what's staying the same, and how you can stay ahead of the curve. Second, building an authentic personal brand. In a sameness, we'll talk about how to stand out without burning out. And third, using AI tools without losing your voice. Because the goal isn't to sound like everyone else, it's to sound more like you, just more consistently. So let's dive in. So let's start by talking about how AI is changing buyer and seller behavior. Even your friends, your family, and your best clients are using tools like Zillow, Redfin, and Google before they even reach out to you. Today's buyers and sellers are walking into conversations already armed with data, Zestimates, Redfin hotness scores, Zillow offers, even AI predicted values. Many have already toured the neighborhood virtually, filtered homes by school ratings, and even asked AI systems like ChatGPT if now's a good time to buy, all before they've even spoken to you. So what does that mean for us as agents? Well, it means we're no longer the first source of information, but we're the first source of interpretation. So our value now lies in context, clarity, and trust. So let's break that down. Here's a quick look at how buyer and seller expectations have evolved, a then versus now shift that's actively reshaping real estate. Here's a little timeline of buyer and seller behavior over the last 10 years. So let's take a quick look at how things have changed. So 2015, 2020, then buyers relied on agents for everything. Now they show up already armed with AVMs, comps, and AI-driven insights. Then they search listing manually. Now AI predicts what they want before they even type it. Then they toured dozens of homes in person, either through open houses or agent tours. Now they fall in love after a single 3D virtual walkthrough. Then we communicated through emails, phone calls. Now they expect real-time responses through apps, DMs, and automation. Then a simple CM paper was enough. Now they expect data-rich, interactive, real-time presentations that look and feel like tech platforms they already trust. Bottom line, you can't out-automate the algorithm, but you can out-human it. And here's the thing, it didn't used to be this way. So let's rewind for a second. Let's rewind a bit even further than 2015. Let's talk 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s. Back then, an agent's success hinged on memorization. Think Tom Ferry-style scripts. Objection handling, it was all about having a sharp comeback, even if it sounded like you were reading straight off a teleprompter. Personalization, not so much. It was more about sounding confident than being authentic. We were taught to say things like, "I completely understand how you feel." Many of my clients felt the same way. Success came from consistency and charisma. There was no automation, no algorithm. You were the brand, the CRM, the marketing engine, all rolled into one. Those agents who crushed it, they had relentless discipline. Same coffee, same routine, same scripts, same door knocking route. Charisma sold homes. eye contact, a firm handshake, and a smile that said, "Trust me." You didn't need Instagram or TikTok. You needed good cologne, a nice car, and the gift of gab. CRMs? Forget it. You had a Rolodex, a phone, and a cold call list you worked through until your ear went numb, hoping for a listing appointment by page 5. The sales language was slick and direct. ABC, always be closing. And that wasn't just a phrase. It was a lifestyle. Now here's the thing. Agents back then were masters of repetition and routine. But what worked then doesn't always work now. Today's agents face a whole new set of expectations. We don't just need scripts anymore. We need connection, clarity, consistency, and content that actually lands. Today's agents live in a fully digital world. From Google voice search to AI-powered responses, the tools are faster, the reach is broader, and the automation, it's everywhere. But something is getting lost in translation. We are absolutely flooded with automation, and it's starting to make agents feel somewhat interchangeable. Sure, chatbots can answer basic questions, AI can write listing captions, but none of those tools can replicate the feeling of being seen, heard, or truly understood by a human. AI is templated, and if we're not careful, so are we. Here's the irony. In a world where everyone's using the same scripts, the same templates, the same power pose in their photos, it's the agents who show real emotion, who show up as themselves, that stand out more than ever. Being tech savvy is important, but emotional intelligence, that's irreplaceable. That's the gap, and that's the opportunity. Today's agents can shine by stopping the overly scripted act, ditching the ad-like persona, and simply showing up like real people. So here's the big question. Are we training to connect or just to copy? Are we showing up to build trust or just to look the part? Let's be honest. Selling sunset is not reality. And while today's tools, voice search, AI, DocuSign, virtual assistants are incredible, too many agents are leaning so hard on automation, they've lost the human touch. They're templated, robotic, emotionally disconnected. So let's flip that. Let's take a minute and talk about what a modern agent should look like. Let's talk about what it means to be a modern agent today. Context over scripts. Buyers and sellers don't want canned lines anymore. They want clarity, relevance, insight that actually helps. We've moved from memorizing scripts to mastering context. Digital first and human focus. Today's agent has to show up everywhere. Zoom, Instagram, text, DMs, yes, even TikTok. But while tech grabs attention, it's still human connection that closes the deal. Your online presence is your first showing, so make it count. Data plus empathy equals power. We have more access to stats, trends, and tools than ever before. But the agents who win, they use that data with empathy and strategy, not fear and fluff. It's not just about what the market is doing. It's about what that means for your client. Branding is bigger than just business cards. Those glossy headshots and trifold brochures, that's old news. Today, agents grow their business through personal branding, storytelling, and a strong video presence. People don't hire logos. They hire people they feel connected to. Toolkits and not just toolboxes. Yes, we all have AI, automation, CRMs, email funnels, and more. But the best agents, they don't sound like robots. They make every tool sound like them. Training your tools to reflect your voice, that's the new competitive edge. So let's take a quick minute and watch a video tour of a current listing.
Carport is tall enough to fit your jacked up Carport is tall enough to fit your jacked up F-150, but not tall enough to fill the void of when your father left. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, $660,000. Shut the up. What do you want me to do? It's 2 minutes from Bayshore Boulevard. You're the one who overextended yourself on an F-150 payment. $950 a month? Imagine coming home to this after a long day of overcompensating. This is the perfect spot for your I don't haul anything, but I could apron. Does it get exhausting taking up 2 parking spots everywhere you go? This shower's big enough for you to cry in once you realize all your friends keep you around just in case they need to move. Oh, this would be a great spot for your cuck chair. Hey, did your truck come with a Gatorade bottle full of tobacco spit, or did you have to buy that separately? This house is only 3 minutes away from a mechanic, and the signal's great here.
So what did you think? It's edgy. It may not be who you are, but she will attract buyers and sellers who connect with her humor and her edginess. So the role of the agent has evolved, and it's not slowing down. So if you can combine digital savvy with real connection, you'll build a brand that's unforgettable, not just available. And tell me, people are going to remember this girl, right? Well, because agents today, we're not just salespeople, we're interpreters, we're storytellers, we're trust builders. The game has changed. Buyers and sellers aren't just choosing someone with a license. They're choosing someone they feel connected to, someone they can relate to, someone they can trust to guide them through high-stakes, emotional decisions. And yet, even though the industry has changed, some parts still haven't caught up. Let's talk about the one thing that still screams old school in the most subtle and sometimes hilarious way. Real estate poses. Yes, we're going there. Real quick, let's start with the classic, the hands on the hip. We've all done it. We've all seen it. Back in the day, this pose said, "I'm confident I'm in charge." But now, it looks like a stock photo that belongs in Avon catalog. Yes, I said Avon catalog. It's stiff, it's overused, and it doesn't actually help clients connect with you. It sells ego, not empathy. Next up, the arms crossed. This used to scream, "I'm an authority." Now it kind of whispers, "I'm closed off. Don't talk to me. I don't want to be bothered." In a world where vulnerability and connection win, this pose just feels defensive, like you're bracing for battle instead of showing up to serve. And then, of course, the overly styled headshot. The ones, perfect lighting, the airbrush background, slight head tilt, too much gloss. But here's the thing, it doesn't feel human. They all feel staged. And in today's trust economy, people don't want polished perfection. They want someone who feels real. These kinds of photos build distance, not trust. If your headshot and your branding photos don't feel like you, what message are they sending before you even say a word? Because branding isn't just about visuals, it's about visual trust. And the old school approach, it's just not cutting it anymore. So why does all this matter in a digital world? So let's break this down to 4 key truths. Truth 1, information is everywhere, but context is rare. Consumers today don't lack access. They've got Zillow, Google, ChatGPT, YouTube. But what they don't have is someone to help them understand what all that information actually means for them. That's your job now. You're not just a guide through the transaction. You're a trusted interpreter in a noisy digital world. Truth 2, people crave connection, not just convenience. AI is fast, automation is efficient, but neither of those build trust. People still want to work with a human, someone who gets them, someone who can take data, emotion, and goals and turn that into a strategy that makes sense. Modern clients aren't hiring you to unlock listings. They're hiring you to filter the noise, manage uncertainty, and help make hard decisions feel easier. Truth number 3, AI is a tool, not a personality. AI is powerful, yes, but without your voice, it sounds just like everyone else. If your branding, your emails, your DMs, your content feel templated or robotic, you're not building a relationship. You're blending in. Your edge isn't how fast you can copy paste a ChatGPT script. It's how well you train your AI to sound like you. Truth number 4, authenticity is the new conversion strategy. The more digital the world gets, the more human you have to be. That's why your photos matter, your messaging matters, your branding matters. Every single element either pulls people in or pushes them away. Today's agent doesn't just need tools, they need voice, values, and visibility. And yes, AI can amplify all of that if you use it right. So now that we understand how digital and AI are changing the game, let's explore how to actually train your tools and protect your voice at scale. Let's talk about where your real value comes from in today's digital world. Information is everywhere, but context is rare, and that's where you come in. Everyone has access to the same data. Buyers and sellers can Google home prices, estimate values, or when the best time to buy or sell is quicker than you can snap your fingers. AI can write a market update. It can script a response to objections for you. But here's the truth. Raw information doesn't build trust. It just adds noise. Context is what makes you irreplaceable. You don't just say what the numbers are. You don't just ramble off stats such as how many homes are on the market and for how many days. You explain why they matter to that specific person in that specific situation. You're not just sharing stats. You're interpreting meaning. You're saying, what does this price drop mean for you right now in your zip code with your goals? You are the filter. AI is the faucet with an endless flow of information. But you are the filter. You decide what's worth sharing and when to share it, how to translate it in a way that your client can actually understand. You add the emotion, the urgency, and the nuance. AI can't feel fear, hesitation, or excitement, but you can, because you can see it in your clients. You can hear it in their voice. Context is hearing a client say, "We're thinking about waiting," and knowing that what they really mean is they're afraid of overpaying. That's something only you can catch. So you turn context into clarity. Your client doesn't need another chart. They need a story they can follow. So instead of saying, inventory is up 8%, you can say, this means you'll have more negotiating power, especially on homes that have been sitting for over 30 days. That's context. That's clarity. Context earns trust, not content. Being the one who explains what matters is what builds your credibility. Your job isn't just to deliver info, it's to help people make confident decisions through clarity and connection. Let's talk about the difference between being an info dispenser and a context curator. First, the info dispenser. This is where most agents default to, and frankly, it's what AI already does for free. You've heard it. There are 175 homes on the market. Interest rates are 6.75%. That's not value. That's just a stat. And your clients, they already saw it on Redfin, Zillow, or even their cousin's Facebook post. So if all you do is spit out numbers or repeat listing features, you're not adding value. You're replaceable, or you've probably already been replaced. Now, the context curator. This is where the real magic happens. When you interpret the data through the lens of your client's goals, now you're providing true value. And let's take that same stat and flip it. Inventory is up slightly, which means buyers like you have more room to negotiate, especially in this neighborhood where homes are sitting about 12 days longer than last month. That's specific, that's insightful, and that builds trust. This isn't about knowing more. It's about saying things in a way that actually matters to your client. Your job isn't to sound smart. Your job is to make the client feel seen, informed, and supported. And here's the good news. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to sit in analysis paralysis or spend hours dissecting market reports. You just need to know how to use the tools, especially AI, to save time, to support your unique voice, and never let it replace you. So let me show you exactly how to do that. How to use AI to be a context curator. Train the tool, protect your voice, and serve with clarity. So let's break that down. First, you're going to start with real-world prompts. Don't ask AI for generic answers. Ask it the way your clients ask you. So instead of saying, "What's the market like?" try this. Explain today's market to a first-time buyer who's nervous about interest rates but has a steady income and a flexible timeline. That's when the output becomes usable and relatable, and something you can actually build trust with. Then, personalize it with your voice. AI doesn't know your tone until you teach it. If your style is calm and casual, give it examples of that. If you're direct and data-driven, use that in your prompts. Your brand voice is an asset. Protect it. Train AI to sound like you, not like a sales robot. Then you're going to interpret. Don't just inform. Yes, AI can summarize market stats, but the real value, it comes when you ask it to make those stats mean something to a real person. So try this. Summarize price trends in 91354 for a seller who's thinking about listing in the next 30 days. That's how you use AI, to support your advisory role, not to replace it. Then you're going to customize by client type. You can use AI to tailor your messaging for different types of personalities. Ask it to explain the same thing 3 different ways. One for a nervous first-time buyer, one for an investor, one for a data-driven seller. That's how you connect with how your client thinks, not just what they want to know. AI isn't here to replace agents. It's here to help the best agents go further, faster, but only if you use it correctly. So let's see some examples of context curators versus info dispensers.
Listings with price reductions, where homes are selling in relation to their list price, and how many homes are selling over at an under list price, and of course, the median days on market. Now, when you see the arrows, keep in mind, red arrows indicate a market slowdown or trending more towards a buyer's market. Green arrows indicate a market getting hotter or trending more towards a seller's market. So it doesn't matter whether the arrows are pointed up or down. If they're red, it's more towards a buyer's market. And if they're green, we're trending more towards a seller's market. We're going to start with current months of supply. This is as of this week, and today is July 17th. So in Morrisville, we are looking at current months of supply at 4 months. That is higher since last month. In Cary, 2.2 months. That's actually better since last month. In Apex, 2.3, also better or lower since last month. In Holly Springs, 2 months of supply. And in Fuquay-Varina, 2.5 months of supply. Cary, Apex, Holly Springs. Listings with price.
So this clip is what we call an info dispenser. The agent is simply reading off stats, days on the market, inventory levels, and interest rates. All the numbers are correct and it's all factual, but there's no bridge between the data and what it actually means for the client.
If you've been thinking about buying your first home, listen up,
let's take a
because
look at
right
our
now the
sample.
real estate market is shifting. We're moving into what's known as a buyer's market, and that means more flexibility, more negotiating power, and more options than we've seen in a while. Now I know, homeownership can feel a little out of reach right now. Renters are everywhere, and honestly, in some cases, renting is the right move. But for others, this could be the perfect time to start building equity, stop paying your landlord's mortgage, and finally own a space of your own. Here's the thing. People buy real estate for all kinds of reasons. Maybe your family's growing and you need more room. Maybe you're building a long-term wealth strategy and want to invest in a multifamily property. Or maybe you're just tired of renting and want to put down roots in a cute condo. Whatever your why is, I'm here to help you prepare the right way. Let me help you get clear on your budget. Let me connect you with a wonderful lender. Let me help you understand what's realistic in today's market. And let's make a plan that fits your lifestyle and your long-term goals. Oh, and I'm not just limited to doing real estate here in Los Angeles. As a Compass agent, I've got incredible relationships in Miami, Atlanta, Nashville, and New York. So if you're looking in any of those cities, I've got you covered. So whether you're ready to buy now or just curious about what's possible, send me a message. I'd love to be a resource for you. This market is changing, and if you're ready to make a move,
This agent is what I like to call the Context Curator. This is an agent who takes the current market and translates what it means into real-life impact. They connected the dots. They explained what this market means for a buyer looking to purchase right now in plain language with a clear takeaway. So after watching these two very different approaches to sharing market information, which one do you find more interesting? Which one do you think your buyers, sellers, or spirit would be more likely to scroll past? And which one would they actually stop and watch? And most importantly, which one gave more value? Remember, number alone don't create trust or action, but numbers with meaning, that's where people lean in. So which version are you showing up as in your own content? Let's wrap up this part of the session with four truths about what really sets you apart in today's market. Number 1, why context is the edge. The market doesn't need more data. Your clients already have the data. What they don't have and what they hire you for is interpretation. When you give someone context, when you help them understand what the market stats, what a shift or a strategy means for them personally, that's when trust is built. Number 2, today's clients are over-informed but under-advised. Most buyers and sellers come to you with something they read on Google, saw on TikTok, or heard from a friend. But what they really need is you to tell them what it means for their zip code, what it means for their purchasing or selling timeline, what it means for their budget. Being a context curator means you don't just share info, you shape it. You shape it into something they can actually use. Number 3, you become the trusted interpreter. In a noisy world, trust isn't just about being right, it's about being relevant. When you're the one who can take overwhelming information and make it make sense, you become the most valuable person in the room. Number 4, this is what makes you irreplaceable. AI can write, systems can automate, but only you can curate meaning in a way that connects emotionally, strategically, and locally with your clients. If you want to stand out in this market, don't try to be the smartest person in the room. Be the one who makes everyone else feel smarter. Because if context creates trust and trust creates conversion, then your real superpower isn't knowing more, it's knowing how to connect more. In this new digital age, your biggest advantage isn't speed or automation or even AI. It's being unmistakably human. So let's talk about how to be the human over the algorithm. Algorithms can't feel, but you can. AI, Zillow, ChatGPT, Google AI, they tell your clients what's happening in the market, but they can't tell them what it means in the context of their personal life. That's your job. Your value is the human filter. AI can offer suggestions, numbers, and logic, but you are the one who says, based on your timeline, your goals, and your emotional readiness, here's the strategy I'd recommend. For example, your seller wants to list their home for $690,000 because this estimate says it's worth $690,000. And that's not quite right. So you can say, once rates tick up and inventory starts to grow, that price won't hold up in your neighborhood. That's the filter. That's the value. AI gives you speed, you add the depth. Let AI draft the content. Let it summarize the data, but you bring the clarity, the calm, and the confidence. Use AI to generate multiple pricing scenarios or draft a response to a client objection. Use it to summarize inventory or days on the market changes or create a visual breakdown for a specific client type. Then you need to layer your human insight on top. For example, based on your goals and the emotional weight of this move, here is what I'd prioritize. Clients don't want more info. They want a plan. AI gives information, you give direction. That's the real value. You're not just a data provider anymore. You're the interpreter, the strategist, the trusted navigator. AI doesn't replace you. It elevates you if and only if you know how to pair the tech with your human touch. So let's talk about what that really looks like when it comes to building confidence, not just crunching numbers. Let's be real. Your clients aren't hiring you just to crunch numbers. They're hiring you to help them feel confident in the decisions they're making. Anyone can say, rates are at 6.75%, but it takes a trusted guide to say, that rate still works for your budget, and here's how we can structure the offer to keep your monthly payment comfortable. Interpretation equals calm and clarity. AI can drive data, but it can't calm nerves. You do that. Through tone, through timing, through empathy, through knowing your client. Confidence is what sells homes. Confidence is what wins referrals. And confidence doesn't come from a spreadsheet. It comes from how you explain, not just what you know. You're not a calculator, you're a translator. The tools tell them what's possible, You're the one who helps them believe it's achievable. Now, here's the real question every agent should be asking themselves right now. How are you using AI? This isn't just a tech question, it's a strategy question. Yes, AI is powerful, but the why behind how you use it is even more important than the what. So ask yourself, are you using AI to save time, sound smarter, automate busy work, or just because it feels like everyone else is doing it? Intention is everything. If you use AI without intention, it turns into noise. But if you use it to connect better, clarify faster, stay aligned with your voice, then it becomes your superpower. AI doesn't replace the agent. It reflects the agent. What you put in determines what comes out. That's why training your AI tools to reflect your tone, your voice, and your approach is one of the smartest moves you can make for your brand. Let's bring it to you for a second. What's one way you're using AI right now, and what's something you'd like to try going forward? Think about it. Let's talk about getting the most out of AI and keeping your voice at the center of it all. Are you asking questions or just copying what AI says? Better questions equal better output. AI only shines when you give it real context and real direction. So if you're asking vague questions, you'll get generic answers. So instead of just saying something like, write a listing caption, say something like this. Write a listing caption in my brand voice, confident, playful, and luxury focused. Keep it sweet, short, and simple. You're not just using AI to write for you. You're coaching it to write like you. AI should help you connect, not just post. The goal isn't to push out more context. The goal is to push out context that builds trust, shows your voice, and actually helps your sphere connect and understand. So use AI to save time on repetitive tasks, draft custom follow-ups, turn complex data into human-friendly insights. But don't just post it. Shape it to match your message. Use AI to support your voice. Don't erase it. When I hear agents say, ChatGPT writes my listing descriptions for me, that's a red flag, and here's why. If you let AI do all the talking, you're handing over your voice, your local insight, and your personal connection to the client. Because writing a listing description isn't just about staging together facts, it's about telling a story only you can tell. AI can't feel the way the light hits the porch at golden hour. It can't smell the fresh bread from the bakery down the street. It doesn't know the pride in a seller's voice when they talk about the home they've loved for years. AI is your assistant, not your identity. Use it to move faster, but don't let it strip the heart out of your message. Use it to speed up your workflow, not to water down your voice. AI can analyze patterns. It can crunch numbers. It can even predict behavior. But it can't replace instinct, empathy, or trust. In real estate, the agent is still the heartbeat of the transaction. Because this business, it's not just about square footage or price per foot. It's about trust, especially when life is messy, emotional, or uncertain. People buy from people they trust, not bots. You can have all the data in the world, but if the client doesn't feel seen, heard, or safe, they'll go elsewhere. A chatbot, it might send reminders, but it won't sit on the floor of an empty house and dream with the client about what's possible. AI can assist, but it can't support people through life's big moments. During a divorce, a death in the family, a job relocation, people don't need recommendations. They need reassurance. AI can tell you what's trending, but it can't say, I've got you, when someone is overwhelmed or scared about this next chapter in their life. Trust is earned through emotional intelligence and follow-through. Trust comes from remembering the little things, the dog's name, the tight budget, the fear of change. It's built through empathy, consistency, and truth-telling, even when it's hard. We earn trust by showing up, by being transparent, by putting our clients' needs ahead of a commission check. Trust is why people come back and refer you to others. Clients won't remember the AVM you used. They're going to remember how you made them feel during one of the biggest decisions of their lives. A trusted agent becomes part of the family story, the one who helped them find home during chaos, the joy, or the transition. AI can guide the what, but you guide the why. Trust isn't an algorithm, it's a human advantage. AI is trainable, and you're the trainer. When you share details about your life, your pets, your kids, your day-to-day routines, it helps the AI form more natural and human-centered responses. You are the human. And your AI, it's just here to support you. Every time you share something about how you live, how you speak, or how you think, it helps the AI understand. It understands your patterns, your priorities, your tone, your reality. So when AI offers suggestions, they're not just random, they're actually relevant suggestions. When it helps with tasks or structures your ideas, it's doing it based on you. So every time you correct a response or share how you would say something, you're not just fixing a reply, you're sharpening the AI's ability to support your voice. You're teaching it your filters, your vibe, your unique way of working and thinking. And just to clarify, your personal experiences are not used to train AI models globally. It's just learning for you, so it can help you better. Training your AI isn't about coding. You don't need to know machine learning. You don't need to speak in code. You just need to know how to talk to it. Training your AI is one thing. Crafting clear, consistent prompts, that means being specific in what you ask, giving it examples of your voice, and tweaking responses until they match your tone, your brand, and your purpose. Think of it like a conversation. The more feedback you give, the better the AI gets at sounding like you. It's not one and done. It's a refinement process. You test, you adjust, you guide it until it mirrors your style. Because AI doesn't just respond to data, it responds to direction. So if you want output that feels like your brand, your energy, your voice, you have to teach it. Not with code, but with clarity. Let's shift the way we think about prompts. They're not commands, they're conversations with the really smart assistant who's just waiting for direction. The better your question, the better your answer. Seriously. So if you ask for a generic output, you'll get a generic response. But if you give tone, context, and intention, that's when the magic happens. So for example, don't just say, write me a buyer email. Instead, try something like this. Write a warm, funny, soulful house-to-home email for a first-time buyer, someone who's been in my pipeline and needs a nudge to take that first step. It's human, it's specific, it's branded, and it's way more useful. So let's take a look at a real example of me prompting ChatGPT. I type in, write a warm, funny, house-to-home, first-time home buyer email to send to someone who's been in my pipeline and needs a nudge. Notice how specific I am. I'm telling it the tone, warm and funny. And I'm giving it context, house-to-home, first-time buyer, needs a nudge. So when you give AI that level of direction, it's like giving a personal assistant a crystal clear brief. You get something that already sounds close to you instead of something generic. Now let's watch what happens at the end of the AI's response. It actually asks me if I want to make any changes. Do I want to add anything? Do I want to adjust the tone? When AI asks you questions or feedback about what it sent you, that's your cue to keep the conversation going. AI is iterative. The more you guide it, the closer it gets to your voice. And yes, I always type back, thank you. Not because it has feelings, but because I do. I want to treat this tool like a partner, not a machine. That mindset keeps me in the habit of clear, respectful communication, and it makes me more thoughtful in my prompts. Plus, when you train yourself to give feedback, even something as small as thanks, that works. Or let's make it shorter. You're actually training your AI to get better results the next time. So here's the key. Talk to your AI like you would an assistant who already knows your style. Be conversational, be clear, and give it the same direction you give a team member. Because prompts aren't about shouting instructions. They're about shaping a smart back and forth dialogue. So remember, prompts are conversations, not commands, and great conversations get great results. All right, let's talk about one of the most underrated superpowers of using AI, iterative prompting. Watch what I do here. I'm going to start by asking ChatGPT to create a reel for me. Seems pretty simple, right? Let's see what happens. So as I'm reading this, I realize it's too long. So I'm not going to just settle for the first draft. I'm going to tell it exactly what I want. That's the magic. Every time you give feedback, you're training the AI to better match your voice, your style, and your audience. It's like coaching. Hey, make it more casual, like I'm talking to a friend. Or this doesn't feel right. Can you try it again? So if it misunderstands you, tell it. If it's close but not quite, nudge it. Think of every back and forth as a micro workout for your brand. Your job isn't just to get an answer, it's to refine until the answer sounds just like you. Training your AI is not a one and done kind of thing. It's a back and forth process, and it's gonna take time. Yes, and again, I told my chat GPT, thank you. Before you even start prompting, create a short voice guide. Think of it as your AI's personality, your cheat sheet. So here's an example. You can use it to get started, or tweak it to fit your own style. I speak warmly and clearly, like a knowledgeable friend. My tone is down to earth, optimistic, and a little playful. I work with a lot of first-time homebuyers who need encouragement. When you add this to your prompts, the AI stops sounding robotic and stiff, and it starts sounding more like you. The more you communicate with AI, the more examples, corrections, and feedback you give, the more it naturally learns your tone, your rhythms, and your choice of words. So over time, it starts anticipating your style without you having to over-explain it. This is one of the easiest ways to make your outputs match your energy, your audience, and your intentions. You're not just training a tool, you're teaching it your voice and your tone. So here's a fun thing. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, do you remember my voice tone? And let's see what it says. And the reason I'm doing this is because it already knows me. I've been training it for some time, but let's just see if it remembers. And it said yes. And it's because I've been feeding it my style, my examples, my corrections, and over time it's learned how I write, how I talk, and even the little quirks that make it sound like me. This is why training your AI really means you're not teaching it facts, you're teaching it you. Now, when I ask to write something, I don't have to keep repeating. Make it warm, playful, and encouraging. It already knows. So that saves me time, keeps my brand consistent, and makes sure my content still feels personal. So remember, the more you communicate with your AI, the more it naturally learns your voice, your rhythm, and your priorities. Another way to get AI to sound more like you is you give it more to work with. Feed it your past content, feed it your Instagram caption, your email newsletters, your blog post, even your video scripts. Let it study your rhythm, your word, your choices, your vibe. You can feed AI your links to your social media. You can upload content and ask it to review it. And then once you do that, ask it to mimic that tone. So for example, rewrite this listing description in the same tone as my Instagram post below. Or create 3 TikTok ideas using this video as a tone and example. So you're not starting from scratch, you're training it to echo you. This is how you keep your voice consistent, even when you're short on time, energy, or inspiration. Want your AI to get better over time? Then keep your prompts consistent. The more you repeat a structure, the more your AI learns your style, your rhythm, your intent. It's like muscle memory for your messaging. For example, you might say, write a friendly, empowering caption about why now is a great time to buy a home. Keep it short, end with the call to comment. That same format works across all platforms, Instagram, email, ads, and so much more. Consistency trains your AI to deliver results that feel on brand every single time. Because great marketing isn't just about what you say, it's about how you say it over and over again. Let's talk voice, not just how you sound, but how people feel you through the screen. Your brand voice is more than tone. It's your identity in words. It's what makes someone stop scrolling and say, oh, that sounds like her. When you give your voice a clear persona, you don't just show up, you stand out. You become more confident, more consistent, and way more you. Here's the trick. Name it. Give your voice a personality. Is it the neighborhood bestie? Fun, a little sassy, super relatable? Or maybe the real estate truth teller. No fluff, just facts wrapped in empathy. Could be the luxury liaison. Polished, poised, effortlessly elevated. Or the real talk realtor. Casual, bold, and honest. Whatever it is, once you've got the name, it becomes your creative compass. And AI will remember it. Use it in your prompts. Like, write this in the voice of the neighborhood bestie. Fun, approachable, and a little cheeky. Now you're not just using AI, you're making it sound like you. You don't need a big brand to have a big presence. You just need a voice that people remember and connect with. Here's the truth about AI. If you don't guide it, it will sound like everyone else. You'll get phrases like hot market, dream home, must-see property. Sound familiar? That's because they are everywhere. Generic, overused, robotic. So here's your job. Set boundaries. Think of AI like a junior copywriter. You're the editor. If you don't want robotic, templated, or salesy, say so. Start your prompts with guardrails like avoid sounding robotic. Don't use real estate jargon. Skip buzzwords like hot property. Use plain, friendly language. This is called negative prompting, and it's a game changer. Most people just say what they want, but powerful prompts also include what to avoid. So try this. Write this in a warm, confident tone. Do not sound like a sales script. Avoid phrases like must see or market is on fire, and see what it does. You're training your AI to match your standards. You're saying, these are my brand lines. Stay within them. And that's how you show up consistently, authentically, and still move way faster. Because you don't need to sound like every other agent using AI. You just need to sound like you, but more efficient. So let's talk quickly about one of the easiest, most powerful AI features you might not be using yet. Custom instructions. With tools like ChatGPT, you can now save your preferences. You tell it once how you work, what you sound like, and who you're talking to, and it remembers. That means every time you log in, you're not starting from scratch. You're building a digital assistant trained in your tone, your strategy, and your business. This is where efficiency meets identity. Saving custom instructions is like giving AI a shortcut to your brand voice. You're not just saving time, you're saving energy. and protecting your authenticity. So, what should you include in your instructions? You should include, how do you want to be addressed? Your name, your brand persona. What do you do? Agent, coach, VA, content creator? What tone do you use? Friendly, warm, bold, analytical? What you expect? Bullets, captions, scripts, whatever fits your workflow. This is where AI stops sounding like a machine and starts sounding like you. All right, so now it's time to put all this into action. And honestly, this next challenge is the best way to lock it all in. So this week, I want you to create 2 short videos using AI. But here's the twist. You're not just using it to make content. You're using it to train it, to think like you. So here's your weekly challenge, and I promise it's a good one. You're going to create 2 short videos, each 15 to 30 seconds long. Here's the catch. AI is your creative sidekick, but your voice leads the way. So part 1, the AI-inspired intro reel. Your goal is to introduce yourself to potential clients and reintroduce yourself to current clients in Sphere, but not in a stiff way, not in a resume style way. We want fun, we want real, we want the you. Do you like to ride horses? Are you out there in the garden? Tell us what you're doing. Show us the real you. So here's how to do it. Use AI to brainstorm a few hook ideas or a mini script. You can try a prompt like, give me 3 hook ideas for a 15-second real estate intro video in a warm, confident tone. I'm gonna be in my garden. Then just record it. Keep it short, keep it personal, and most of all, let your vibe shine through. This is your moment to let people meet the human behind the brand and to start training your AI to think and sound just like you. Now, part 2 of this week's challenge. Turn AI info into a message. The goal here? To practice translating market data into something your clients actually care about and can understand. So here's what you need to do. First, use AI to grab a market stat, tip, or a trend. You can try a prompt like, what's one thing first-time buyers need to know about today's interest rates in under 3 sentences? Then take that info and make it your own. Record a 15 to 30 second video and explain it like you're talking to a friend. Break it down, keep it casual, and most of all, make it sound like you. Use your brand voice, inject your personality. Add a little humor, add a little heart. AI gives you the draft, but your delivery is what makes it matter. So let's close with this powerful reminder. AI isn't a shortcut, it's a skill set. Just because AI is accessible doesn't mean it's automatically effective. It's not about if you're using AI, it's about how you use it and why you're using it. The best agents aren't just using AI to save time. They're using it to scale trust, sharpen communication, and stay human in a digital world. Intentional use beats passive automation every time. There's a big difference between blindly hitting generate and intentionally crafting a prompt that reflects your client's needs, your voice, and your expertise. If your AI feels like a Zillow script or a robot email, step back and ask yourself, is this actually helping me connect? Automation without emotion is just a missed opportunity. It's easy to fall into the trap. Auto text, canned responses, mass DMs. But none of those build relationships on their own. Don't let convenience strip away connection. You still need to make the calls, send the text, personalize the follow-ups. That's what people remember. Reflection is your strategic advantage. Ask yourself now, are you using AI to sound more like you or to sound like everyone else? Are your automations helping you stay present with clients or pulling you further away? Technology should enhance your presence, not replace your personality. So use AI to save time, but spend that time being real, being thoughtful, and being connected. Thanks so much for showing up and leveling up today. You're not just learning how to use AI tools, you're learning how to protect your voice, elevate your message, and show up with more clarity and connection. Because in a world full of automation, the agent who feels human wins. So next week, we're diving into session 2, where local is the new luxury. We're going to explore how hyper-local knowledge is your new premium service and how to position yourself as a go-to agent in the neighborhoods and communities that matter most to your clients. So I hope to see you then.